What's up, everybody? Welcome to IGN Game Scoop. I'm your host, Damon Hadfield. Joining me this week is Justin Davis,
Scoop.
Jared Petty,
Scoop Deja Vu,
Sam Claiborne.
What is up, Damon?
Oh, I'll tell you what's up. We're going to talk about, we've got a great show for you this week. We're going to talk about Final Fantasy 15. We're going to talk about local multiplayer. I think that might be making a comeback.
Ooh. Whoa.
Find out at the top of the
Low
hour.
ball.
But first, No Man's Sky.
Damon, just once I want you to say, I'm going to level with you all. It's mediocre this week. We already got your click. Feel free to just have this. You can have this hour back.
Yeah, treat yourself.
Yeah.
You go maybe get a nice little massage.
Yeah, or get a nice little cup of tea.
Go
You could
listen
watch
to
that Yoda song.
Listen to the Katamari Damacy soundtrack.
Yep,
Sit down
these
to
are all
that.
options.
But not
this week, because we've got a great show for you this week. And we're going to start things off with No Man's Sky, which just got its first big update after 3 months of silence from developer Hello Games.
This is just a foundation, Damon.
The foundation patch is out now. It is setting the foundation for things to come.
Ooh.
They added a bunch
I've
of...
heard that before.
Yep. Much like the foundation that was made by the Great Ring that the Barad-dûr was built on by Sauron.
Okay, all right.
Wait.
And that's the
not how it
end
works.
of Lord of the Rings references for the next 59 minutes.
Hope it's a long scoop. Sneak one in right at the end.
It adds base building and all sorts of other changes. I haven't taken a long.
All I can think of is Lord of the Rings jokes.
They're taking
I
the
have
Hobbit
so many
style
Helm's
cigars.
Deep things to say about the base building.
No, I mean, I don't like it.
Don't like it.
Don't like
Whoa. Don't like the fact that there's an update out for the game.
Yeah.
Why?
Because No Man's Sky
'Cause it was a
is
perfect game already.
It's predicated on the whole purpose of the
I'm
game
joking.
is exploration and moving forward and leaping into the great unknown and hopping from planet to planet and getting closer to the center of the galaxy, and having a home planet with the base that you build on it is at odds with that. It's the antithesis of that game's not about staying in one spot.
Okay. Now, Sam, I know you like this game.
Hell yeah.
Have you checked out the new features since the update?
No, because there's some other games out right now.
Well, yeah, there are some other games.
I will
I mean,
say,
I will totally go back and play this game. Like, I say that about The Witcher, then I don't. But I'll totally go back and play this game.
the base building,
relaxing.
although I do think it was the wrong direction for Hello Games to spend 3 months building on, what they did actually build is pretty slick. The base building itself is cool. You put these little stations, like a science station or other stations, in your base, and then you go to space stations and recruit aliens to work at those stations for you. And then these different aliens that you hire man the little station, and then it grows bigger over time. Like, that's pretty cool. That you get like a little crew.
I'm more interested in the kind of the space RV element that may come. Just the idea that I can build something gigantic and then fly from system
I
to
need a
system.
storage space, so-
Yeah. I get
Like, how much smarter would it have been to build like a Battlestar Galactica style caravan? Like, that's more in the spirit of the game.
And I'm thinking in terms of like Sid Meier's Pirates, which did influence in some ways at least No Man's Sky. You can see it's pretty obvious that Elite and Pirates both feed into that game. The problem is they didn't add enough of the features, but that was all about building a fleet of ships that you traveled all across the Caribbean in. I love the idea that
Kind
as
of like
you,
the fleet that led the Numenorians to
Indeed.
Middle Earth originally after the Great Flood.
yeah, ships 3x3.
Yes.
Along with the 7 Palantir.
I'm hijacking your...
I think the plural is Palantiri.
Your
I believe
segue.
you're right. It is Palantir. I think you're correct.
Didn't Spaceballs have a space RV?
You did have a space RV, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, having a really
barf.
cool space RV, I like that idea better than a planet side thing. I get that they had the foundation to build on, that they already had this modular
I think you mean a
thing.
space convoy.
No, I really am thinking like a giant, like
Sing
space
convoy.
house, like a
Sing
what's that?
convoy.
Convoy. We got a big old convoy.
Shake the trees and break the leaves,
It's
little
okay.
buddy.
It's okay to
Smoking on our six.
It's always okay to sing Chris Christopherson on this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
If we seem
loving
a
her
little
was
loopy,
easier.
it's because we had a lot of pizza at lunch.
So says host Damon Christopher Hatfield.
Oh, Beat the Devil by Chris Christopherson. That is one of the best country folk songs ever.
So
written. Just love it.
Justin, you're not crazy about this specific update,
Right.
but is it not good that they are updating the game?
Yeah, I think that there's a decent... I'm going to give it a 50-50 chance that when the dust settles, Hello Games closes the door on No Man's Sky, they're completely finished updating it, that it'll actually be a pretty cool game.
That seems to be happening more and more.
They're sticking
Rainbow
with it.
Six Siege and The Division are apparently, like, now people really are enjoying those shooters.
The Division's new survival update really turns that game around. This game, I think it was a big mistake, a giant mistake for them to be radio silent for 3 months. Although actions do speak louder than words, and they dropped this update that is continuing to make significant improvements to the game. So there's that. But I think that people forget that they are a very, very small team. They are a smaller team than that made games that you think about as being very small games.
Yeah.
And I think they just didn't know what. I think they just didn't know what to do. They were just completely.
Their launch
overwhelmed.
was it couldn't have gone worse. Their launch was a disaster.
I had a very good time with No Man's Sky.
sold a lot of games.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
okay.
But much like Sam, I had a good time with it in the
But there's
beginning. I probably got 30 good hours in a No Man's Sky.
man,
But then
not
when
me.
I ran out of things to do, then it was just like, I don't see any reason to pick this up again. What's bothering me is that despite the fact I know that this is rolled out, I haven't felt incentivized to play it. And I wonder if that's just timing. Releasing this
It is
huge,
coming out right in the middle of all the big releases of the year.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to get excited about it, but I think that might have more to do with calendar. And I understand they wanted to get the update out before Christmas, so there's a better reason to go pick up No Man's Sky if you already didn't, or pick it back up if you took it back. But still, it is great that they're supporting the game. I don't want to crap on that. It's good that they're trying to do right by their fans.
I want to get to the center of the universe.
Yeah,
I'm going to get there.
you're gonna get there.
Our freelancer did, who wrote our guide. He got to the center.
You did.
To get around the issue that I'm talking about, where the whole game is about advancing farther and farther and farther, they give you a little item that lets you warp back to your home planet. So you have your home planet where you're building out and expanding your base. Then you can zip back to the place where you made
It's
the
just
furthest
storage
progress.
space. I mean, it makes sense to me.
You
to
can
have
skip
that.
back and forth. So that is a smart little gameplay solution, but it doesn't solve the narrative the problem of it's just problematic. Should
I
have been. It
expanded
should
my
have been building a
backpack
space
so many
cowboy.
times, Jared. Is it useless now?
What about like an Ego the Living Planet type thing? What if you just brought your whole planet with you?
Ooh, I like
that'd
that.
be fun.
I
Just
like that.
haul it on, put thrusters on it.
Actually, I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, so I don't understand the reference yet.
Oh well, Ego the Living Planet's actually he's
That's
kind of an old Marvel character.
Well, it's okay. It's
What
okay.
about Mad Planets, the game where you fight Earth versus other planets?
Oh, I forgot about Mad Planets. Indeed.
What about Mad
I
Balls?
believe.
Mad Balls are pretty cool.
Great.
They're gross for one, gross for all.
Yes, gross for one, gross for all.
I was intensely bored by No Man's Sky, and don't plan
Intensely bored.
I don't plan on spending any more time with it.
Much like the Silmarillion.
The intensely
that
bored.
is
game's-
intensely boring.
Is the first planet you're on in that game randomly generated too, or is it the same for everybody? Do you know?
I don't know. My first planet was.
It's all the same planet. Valinor is just lifted
I had to
off
find
the
some
ocean.
resources, and it's telling me this resource is 8 minutes away.
That's exactly
Get to walk in. It's like, well, I could just play Darkest Dungeon and have fun right now.
In the
Talking about the Silmarils.
in the tutorial of the game, it's like you got to go get this rare resource. It's 11 minutes away.
Like,
And I'm
what?
like, oh.
I'm not walking for 11 minutes in this game. Get out of here.
What about like a Starship Troopers, the book style, like jumpsuit that it just lets you like hop straight to that stuff in one mighty like 10-second leap? I
You
think
know
that
what
would
I
have
can
been
do in
rad.
11 minutes?
Yeah, exactly. You could have just added that kind of mobility, like tribes type suits that let you skirt across the surface or something. That would have been a good.
Getting
idea.
close to describing a fun video game, Jared.
Let's move on. Out this week, the long-awaited Final Fantasy 15 is actually out, and is apparently pretty good.
Yeah,
You start downloading
Great.
it today. You can play it next week.
Yeah.
it does
Big
take
download.
a really long time to install when you do that download.
I haven't even started my download yet.
Oh,
Did you do
shit.
that download?
My install,
I'ma do that
I think,
download.
took 10 hours after the download, something like that. Yeah.
Jared, you're playing, right?
Yeah, I'm playing, and I really like it. So it is one of the most Japanese video games I've ever played. It has this marvelous zaniness
What
to
about
it.
Choaniki?
It's even more Japanese than Choaniki. And, when I
man.
say that, I'm
Don't say
talking.
things.
Yeah, I don't want to sound.
You can't take back.
Don't want to sound ignorant, but it really does reflect a lot of what some of the values and things people get excited about in pop culture in Japan are very on display here. A kind of a combination of an almost like syrupy sentimentality, a beautiful respect for nature and animism, and then fabulous like fashion and star power stuff, and a respect for kind of the tragic and the comedic right side by side, existing in dichotomy.
Hey. Can you just fight monsters?
Yes, and you can fight monsters.
Okay.
It is fun.
And there are chocobos.
There are chocobos. It is delightful. I like the characters. Every time it goes over into syrupy, I'm like, I don't know. And then they'll pull like one perfect beat, and I'll be like, oh, no, I like it. And there's a very, very early on the nose moment where like, hey, guy, you're going to know these guys are friends. And I almost wanted to hate it. And then I'm like, no, that's kind of great. Thank you for doing this. I don't want to spoil that for you. But within the first 10 minutes, when the Final Fantasy 15 credits pop, just like, well, I did not expect that, but you definitely made a statement.
I don't want them to fight.
Oh, the four guys?
Yeah.
They haven't started hating each other in my game yet.
I just want them to be friends.
Yeah, I think they're going to stay friends. I could be wrong, but I think they're going to stay friends.
It's not what I hear for the last half of the game.
Really? Is that what you heard?
Well, it's not. I
No
don't
spoilers
know
here, no
that
spoilers.
this is a spoiler or that's a thing, but I just know the game changes from being an open world game in the end, and I think that might affect how many characters you're playing as. I don't know that for sure.
Well, I know that
you guys heard about that, right?
I knew that there's
How like
a
they
change.
closed.
Yeah.
You can still go back to
Well, the
open
first half
world.
of the game's open, and then the second half is linear.
And
Yeah.
again, I don't know any of the story facts, but I'm sure it's something changes there.
Since we're doing no spoilers, I don't want to say anything, but I have a strong feeling based on what you see very early in the game that these characters are still friends.
Yeah, go ahead. You have a question.
We have an email from
Rose for life.
from Neil in Spain.
Is his last name in Spain?
No, he lives in Spain.
Does he stay mainly in the plane?
He did not provide his last name.
Got it. Neil from Spain.
Yeah. And he emailed us at the email address, gamescoop@igm.com, just like you can. And he says, I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. I've waited
That's
for
quadruple Fs. The fourth F is silent.
waited for 15 for 8.5 years. Got the game yesterday, loving it so far. The thing is, I know I won't ever get the experience or story promised with Versus 13, and my experience with 15 is sort of different from what I expected when I used to see Versus 13. Don't get me wrong, I think 15 is incredible. My definitive gaudy. So my question is, do you think waiting for such a long time is worth it? Huge expectations can be a bitch sometimes. Changes in game development can be disappointing for fans and gamers who anticipate the title for so long. I know I was disappointed when I heard the story had changed direction from its original draft to what we see today in the final game, although that made me change my chip and start anticipating a different game. So there you have my discussion topic. Until next time, Scoop!
I lost the question in that.
My question is, do you think waiting for such a long time is worth it?
Okay, so
8.5 years.
Final Fantasy 13 and everything it wrought outside of this can fall down the stairs and die.
Whoa. What are you saying now?
Final Fantasy. Okay, so this game began its life as a Final Fantasy 13 spin-off. Final Fantasy 13 Versus, and then eventually became Final Fantasy 15. That's what he's talking about here.
But wasn't it?
It's Versus 13.
Yeah, this was
But
Versus
this is
13.
even before 13 was out, though, right?
Yeah.
What?
They announced them at the same time.
Yeah, they announced them at
Okay.
the same time,
Okay.
exactly. So anything from that era in the Final Fantasy universe, 13, 13-2, Lightning Returns, all of those are awful. I really despised all three.
But you played them because you are the strategy guy.
Yeah, so I wrote one of them. Yeah, but 15, I think, benefited in this case from a very long wait because some very fundamental changes happened philosophically and design-wise at Square Enix between the time they started this project and the time that this was released. Final Fantasy 14's revision, for example, what it started as a pretty lousy MMO and it's become something pretty wonderful.
Yeah.
That took place during that period of time when they kind of stepped back, look at what they've been doing, like, you know what, we might want to change direction. It's probably time to embrace that whole games are fun thing again. And Final Fantasy 15, I believe, reflects that spirit of silliness and optimism that's become much more prevalent in Square's more recent game design. So I think in this case, a wait was a very good thing for 15. And I'm not sure we'd have enjoyed
Do you think
Versus 13.
Skyrim had an influence on it too?
No, not really. No.
I suspect that I think it's probably a little misleading to say that Final Fantasy 15 has been in development for 8.5 years. I think Final Fantasy 15 was canceled and restarted. I think it's a completely different game. I'm not sure that anything remains from what was built in those first couple of years.
Jared, you were saying that some of the aesthetics seem like 13.
Some of the aesthetics look familiar to me. I wasn't in those studios. I think Justin's raising a very valid point.
Yeah, I'm mainly being.
It was never
I think it was-
officially canceled.
I don't mean like literally nothing survived. I just think
Yeah.
I don't think it's like they worked on this game for 8.5 years. I think the project wasn't working and they stopped.
Yeah,
and-
they
and-
threw a bunch out and kept a few good things and kept moving. I think the action-oriented combat, for example, that may have been an original focus and things like that. And they kept refining that, threw a lot of not so good ideas out. You talked about Skyrim. You see some influence there, big monsters, but I think Monster Hunter, the fact that this was 10 years ago, Monster Hunter has an absolute influence on this. It's 4 characters out in the wilderness hunting monsters for their resources and cashing them in, but it's much more Final Fantasy-fied. It's streamlined and exciting and quick, and you don't have to be an expert at every creature to do it, but the creatures are still interesting. So you've got that.
That's why I'm so excited about it. Again, I am going to be waiting 3.5 days for my copy to install, but I'm excited to finally dive into it because Final Fantasy 12 is, for me, the second greatest Final Fantasy ever made. And
After 6?
After 9.
9. Wow.
Well, 6 is dope too. 12 is a top tier Final Fantasy. Let
Yeah,
me
I
just
love
put
12.
it that way. So I like that real-time-esque combat in 12, and I really like that monster hunting aspect of it. Just, go to the board and find what I got to go kill this giant cactar, and then go find him and kill him and turn it in. And my understanding is that that's a big-ish portion of at least the first half of 15.
Oh, it's a big part of the game, and you're not going to have the depth. You're not going to have the depth of the Gambit system.
Yeah, but I mean that's it's like this. It's a different flavor of the same sort of dish.
Also, fishing confirmed.
Oh, fishing confirmed. Absolutely, fishing confirmed. All kinds of fun things. Coleman camping gear, Cup of Noodles advertisements. You want to buy some Cup of Noodles?
Yeah, there's weird sponsored stuff in the game.
Yeah,
there's
there
a lot
are.
of promotional spaces in it.
Yeah, there really are.
Is it cup of noodles or cup noodles?
Cup noodles. Cup noodles. I say the advertisement's not working, I guess. But yeah, billboards and roadside stands where you can buy them.
Very familiar with.
I
cup
hear
noodles.
Audi is a big part of Kingsglaive, the movie.
I've heard that too. Caleb was talking about that. But
What is? What?
Audi.
Audi,
really?
Yeah.
They're a car manufacturer.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, Lightning was selling fashion products in Japan for a while.
Really?
Yeah. There was some.
2016's terrible.
Which one?
2016.
Oh,
yeah, 2016.
But Final Fantasy 15, really, I haven't finished it yet. I haven't had this much fun with a Final Fantasy game since 12. It's delightful.
Also good.
Yeah, I've got my copy that's going to take a while to install as well. I'm looking forward to playing it. But it is interesting, this game is long in development. Whether or not it was actively in development, we don't know that whole time. But also in next week we're getting Last Guardian, and that game has been in development as far as we know for like 7 years. There's Duke Nukem Forever, a game that was, in development period for what, 15 years?
Yeah, I think it was 14 for Duke Nukem.
So it's like, I was thinking like video games like the only modern artistic medium that has that long of like gestation period. Like movies aren't in like active production for years and years and years,
But they
where an
can be.
entire crew is being paid day in and day
Yeah.
out just to
with the exception of
produce nothing.
Island of Dr. Moreau, which I think stretched for like a year.
Hey, I got one. The third Guns N' Roses album.
The third Guns N'
Chinese
Roses.
Democracy.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
that
just
is
That was
a
not
long
the
time.
third one, but it's whatever the case. Chinese Democracy.
There's stuff like The Fall that was in the works for years.
What was
But
The
you're
Fall?
right. You're right that
or
I mean, it's
Confederacy
just-
of Dunces. That's always been
but
forever.
they're not paying a crew for a
Yeah.
decade to
No,
make it.
I was
And
trying to-
novelists work on books for years.
Lord of the Rings was filmed all at
yeah.
the same time.
That's a novelist working on a book is one person, toiling away, not a
Man,
whole team.
In 1999, a little movie called Lord of the Rings was being filmed.
That's
It's
true.
One
it was.
film.
That's one
Yeah.
film.
Can you
In 3
imagine the
parts.
2 towers coming out and being left on that cliffhanger? Then you have to wait a decade or more before you
Yeah.
find out the fate of Frodo.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what
Frodo-
Half-Life is. That's what
Frodo
Half-Life
lives.
is.
Frodo does live.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
I mean, come on.
Does Frodo live?
Well, yeah, in a way.
Well,
I mean,
he lives for a period of time.
yeah. I mean,
Don't we all?
yeah. The Shire, as you told Sam, the Shire was saved, but not for him.
That's right.
But
And then
not
he gets
for
on a
me.
boat to heaven.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, once you're stabbed with a
does.
Morgul blade,
And he had the more.
It never
he,
goes away.
He had. I have been wounded
pain-
by knife,
he-
sting, and
It
tooth,
was
and a long
year
journey.
and a month since Weathertop when he was
Yeah.
stabbed. He could still feel it.
He can still feel it. That's right. Not to mention Shelob's sting. Not to mention the wound on his finger.
I love that. Like my wife loves those films, and she'd seen them several times. But then it was like the most recent viewing where I had to explain to her that they were like going to heaven. She had no idea. She just thought they were like going on like a boat ride vacation or something. And she never realized
A
that's what they were
boat
doing.
ride vacation.
it's
I
like
that.
it's like half
ambiguous.
heaven, half Hawaii. Like
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
little
It's like if
unclear.
heaven was
Yeah,
Hawaii,
Valinor at that point, you're kind of like, well, a lot of weird stuff happens when you sail over the sea. Sometimes you end up a star.
Well,
that happened to one
says it's a
dude.
gray shore with green forests.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is that the ocean is pulled up in a spiral shape out of the ocean, and then the
Yeah.
ship goes up that.
Also,
Okay.
that Gandalf dialogue from Return to the King, where he's talking about that, is drawn from Frodo's dream in Fellowship of the Ring, like
I'm
in the
aware of
novels.
this. You didn't tell me this. Tell Damon that.
okay.
Tell Damon's
All right.
wife that.
We're gonna move on, but I wanted
I
to
know.
point out. that the movie Boyhood took 11 years to make, but that was by design.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, they use the same.
Because
that's
they
because the
filmed
kid.
a
This
scene
is
every
not
year.
Boys in the Hood. This is Boyhood.
No,
right?
Did you see it?
Yeah.
I want to
Boys
see
in
that
the
movie.
Hood
good.
took
It's good.
11 years
It's like,
to film.
I would have been shocked.
Avatar took like 10 years because he started it right after True Lies, James Cameron, and then he realized, well, the technology I want to make this movie doesn't exist yet, so I'm just gonna twiddle my thumbs
No, he had to let
and
it-
wait for the technology to exist.
He had to let Avatar fester so it could stink that badly
Yeah,
when it
that's
came out.
actually
That's
true.
what it was.
And then
Well, if there's Avatar fans out there, take that up with Jared. You can. Justin, I didn't say anything about that movie.
I'm not very worried about too many people coming out of the woodwork. on
Max
that one.
Scoville's just going to leap from offset and tackle me.
animated movies often take a a long time to make. The Simpsons movie was like 9 years in development
Really?
to make to get that movie made. And then
Wow.
Sleeping Beauty, way back in the 50s, took like 8 years to make that movie.
Oh man, that
That's
dragon,
really neat.
that dragon in Sleeping Beauty is so
It's because,
good.
one of the reasons was Walt Disney really wanted realistic animation, so they filmed a lot of the movie first and then had animators copy
over
it.
it.
Yeah, and then
rotoscoping.
a lot of the animators were actually like kind of pissed off about that because they're like, a real animator can draw a human realistically without copying someone. But anyway,
Animation snobs.
whoa.
Just watched The Secret of Nim again for a few weeks ago.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
it was good.
We now interrupt this Game Scoop for an important update.
What's going on?
Today, the director of the Rampage movie, the upcoming Rampage movie, based on the 80s arcade game.
Did you make all of this up?
The director of last year's San Andreas, starring The Rock. He gave an update letting us know what Rampage monsters will be in the movie.
Oh.
It is
One?
all three that you would expect to be
Two?
in the
So
the three
Lizzie,
movies.
Lizzie is
Yeah.
there.
And do you know their other names?
I know, I've forgotten the other
That's
names.
the whole
Lizzie's the
thing.
only one I remember.
That's
Let's see. George. Lizzie,
yes,
George,
the ape is
and what's the wolf's name? I don't
Do you remember it?
I don't remember the wolf's name.
Well, Dame and I looked it up earlier, and I do remember it from that moment.
Lizzie and George are the ape.
Lizzie's
and
the Godzilla,
I'll
George
give
is
you
the
the
King
hint.
Kong.
It's the name of another famous movie monster.
It's Ralph? Is that what it is? No.
No.
What is it? What is it? I
think it's
do not
Frank.
remember.
Is it
Frank?
Frank
Maybe
the
it was
Wolf?
Ralph.
I feel like
That's
it's
Ralph. You're right. You're right.
Anyway, there's a Godzilla and a
this
King
is how bad it
Kong.
was. Dame and I read this together earlier.
A Godzilla, a King Kong, and the Wolf. And I don't think the director actually knows their names either. Director Brad Payton says, there's the three, the lizard, the ape, and the wolf. So
That's a quote.
So authentic.
he either doesn't know their names or he doesn't think anyone else knows their
just
names.
doesn't.
Yeah.
I really hope the movie takes place in Des Moines. Like, you destroyed so many cities in that game because it had like 130
All right,
levels.
You know what? You can just leave Des Moines out of this.
What? No,
Iowa over
I think
here.
Des Moines was an early level.
Des Moines is on the rise.
I'm okay with that. Why not have a disaster
not once
movie set in
Lizzie
Des
gets her
Moines?
hands on it.
Oh man.
Yeah, man, that game had so many levels.
I
Did
love
you ever
that
play it all
game.
the way through?
Yeah, I beat it I beat the NES
That
version.
game
I think.
has 4,000 levels
Yeah.
in it. It never ends.
It goes
Yeah.
through Canada.
Yeah, it goes on
Yeah.
forever.
Do you think it'll have nudity, Damon?
I hope so. I was really interested in the fact that it had nudity when I was a kid.
Yeah,
that's
me too.
right.
And if anybody doesn't know this game, it's a classic 80s arcade game where you play the giant monster destroying the city. It's 2D, and then the monsters can like hurt each other, fight each other, and you knock down planes that are attacking you. And then if you lose enough health, you
It's great.
you shrink back down to the human that you transformed from,
Yeah.
and then shuffle off the screen, covering up your private parts. It's
Yep.
great.
You're completely.
So
completely
that's the
nude.
setup for the
Wait, is one of the characters a lady?
yeah one
Yeah,
Lizzie.
the
I
Godzilla
think,
is
yeah.
Okay, and then but there's also naked ladies in the apartment buildings.
Well, they're like showering.
That's an important thing you need to know about Rampage
Yeah.
when you're 8.
So that's the setup. That's the setup for the game. Would you like to know the setup for the movie?
no,
Yes, it's set in Des Moines.
This is the director. The director says the story centers on quote a lab that affects these animals and makes them rampage.
Wait,
sure.
so they start as animals in this. They're not starting as people.
Apparently,
So
so
they're doing
it's-
like the Ninja Turtle thing
Animal
where
nudity.
like
Yeah.
Splinter's like not a dude, but he's
Or
a
they're-
rat
they're
now.
aliens.
Oh,
So,
man.
Yeah,
Wow.
I imagine the Rampage fan community is going to be up in arms about that change in.
Oh, that's
You and
Rampage
I?
canon. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. We should write a
Goodness.
letter.
We should,
No, we
I'm
can
gonna-
angrily tweet at the director.
Yes, and the Rock, and the Rock.
Okay, and the
Wait,
Rock.
is The Rock in this? He's
Yeah.
So not only
Because remember, the Rock was in San Andreas, so
Right.
now he
They
and the-
reunited.
Yeah, they're
But he's
What
reunited.
is
not
Twitter
George.
for if not to shout at people when they make a creative decision you
This
don't
is
like?
great. The
That's
tides
true.
have turned.
That's
This is
actually
fantastic.
I love that. It affects these animals and makes them rampage. Just taking the name of the game, it'd be like we're gonna make a Call of Duty. It's about soldiers answering the Call of Duty.
rampaging animals,
Elevator
much
pitch.
much as Smaug rampaged over Lake Town
Yeah, that's
in
right.
The Hobbit,
Yeah.
the prequel
Yeah.
to Lord of the Rings.
Or as Ungoliant did.
Oh, and Goliath did also
He's-
rampage,
Yes,
then he-
and ended up in Mordor.
destroying the
Unfortunately,
trees.
Left spawn of Ungoliant
We have to move
everywhere.
on from
Yeah.
Rampage.
That's
Most his
spiders.
fury up on the mountainside. Yeah, that's the Balrog.
Yeah, he's supposed to. Yeah, wow.
Our next email is from Mike in Belgium.
What's up, Mike?
He says, I'm a relatively new fan of the show, so I hope this question hasn't been asked before.
Big fan of their beer.
My first console, the Xbox, served a sole purpose, playing couch co-op multiplayer games.
Yeah.
Serious Sam, SSX3, Jet Set Radio Future, etc. Online gaming was a PC thing, and when I was alone, I mostly played Pokemon and Golden Sun on the Game Boy. Do you guys feel like Xbox and PlayStation developers have given up on offline split-screen gaming. Except for fighting and sports games, there isn't much to choose from. Even racing games are giving up on it, apparently. Rocket League does not fill the gap. Is there more to it, like the desire to increase console sales? So we've talked about this many times in the past, that it does seem like local split-screen multiplayer or co-op has become very rare. But I was looking it up, and I think it might be more common today than we think.
Well, there's two sides to this. The first side is you lost it in games like Halo or some of these other franchises just for technical limitations. It's very, very hard to, without cutting back significantly on frame rate or draw distance or detail, to have all the enemies on screen twice, all the guns on screen twice. Like they had to cut it for that reason. So yeah, I mean, in that sense, couch co-op used to be a thing, and now it's not. But the indie scene has really picked up a lot of that slack.
It's heavy on the indie scene, but even in the AAA scene. So if he's an Xbox gamer, I looked up current Xbox One couch co-op games. They include
Gears,
Borderlands, the Handsome Collection, all the Call of Duties, Diablo 3, Divinity Original Sin, Gears of War 4, and Gears Ultimate Edition, Master Chief Collection, then getting into the indie stuff, Guacamelee, Hyperlight Drifter, Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris. The Lego games are all co-op. Minecraft has split-screen co-op. Both
Lego
Plants
Force
vs.
Awakens
Zombies, Garden Warfare has that, Rayman Legends has it, Star Wars Battlefront, Terraria, and many, many more. So I don't know, it's like there's a lot of couch co-op games available today.
Does Reaper Souls support two-player?
Reaper Souls?
Like Diablo 3 Reaper? Does it support two-player on the same console? Yeah, I can't remember.
I believe so.
Couldn't remember. That's another one.
And PS4 has many of the same games, plus Uncharted 4 has a co-op survival mode coming next year. Plus there's Broforce, Don't Starve Together, Enter the Gungeon, Helldivers, and Towerfall.
Wow,
all
see,
on
this is
PS4.
great. This is why I'm excited for Switch, because I saw Karen walk into that party, and she's like, hey, guys, I got the couch co-op right here. I got the couch
Did someone just name her
competitive here."
Karen?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
someone just named her Karen. But
She
Karen
does
comes
look like
in,
a Karen.
she lays her Switch down, and she pulls out her controllers, and suddenly we're all playing. I'm going to be able to walk into a room and be like, hey, guys, let's play 4-player Choo-Choo Rocket, and just bam, right there, jump right in.
I love
Like,
how
it's gonna
I'm
be great.
excited about the Switch, but I love how everyone's like, "Oh, Karen brought her weird Nintendo thing again." Karen, we're just trying to drink some wine and gossip for a little while.
I am totally going to be Karen for Halloween next year.
Yeah, we all are.
Someone already beat you to it. But
Yeah. Oh, did they? Oh, man.
It was a really good costume.
Oh, okay.
However, many of the year's biggest games do not have local co-op or split screen, like Overwatch, Forza Horizon 3, Dark Souls 3, Titanfall 2, Battlefield 1. These games do not have it.
but Call of Duty does, huh?
All the Call of Duties have.
I'm going to be honest with you, Damon. I legitimately thought this segment was an opportunity to plug Overcooked.
Overcooked the
Yeah,
game.
that's a really cool local multiplayer.
That is. So we were just talking about that today in our.
Cooperative, competitive, ostensibly cooperative, but
I love games that are like
it
that,
for-
where you're supposed to be working together, but very quickly you end up screwing each other over.
What platform is Overcooked for?
I only know it on PC. I don't know if it's elsewhere.
Yeah, is it Steam?
And you're like,
Yeah.
are you all working in a kitchen? Is that
Yeah, you're all working in a kitchen, running around trying to make dishes together, and it gets wild and chaotic and crazy.
Or
very fast.
a food fair outside. Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just got my NES Classic Edition, and my wife and I have just been sitting there playing Double Dragon 2 and Bubble Bobble and Balloon Fight, and it's that wonderful like side by side. And again, you talk about that. Are you cooperating? Are you competing? In those games, you're never really completely sure, and that's one of the things I like about
Does
them.
Double Dragon 2 also open with your girlfriend getting punched in the stomach and carted off?
Double Dragon 2,
No,
the
Double Dragon
Revenge
2
means we're
opens with
getting
her
killed.
being shot.
Whoa.
Yeah, killed.
That's why it's the Revenge.
Yeah.
But I thought in 3, your girlfriend's punched in the stomach and carted off.
It's a new girl.
Yeah,
That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. Is there like a canon
Well,
here
I
where
think don't they bring Marion back somehow? I
Maybe
think
they resurrect
so
her.
maybe it's one of those things where it's like Link, where that's like they're basically telling the same story over and over. Then later they're like, no, they're all separate links.
No, because they go up to 5. It goes all the way to
All
Double Dragon
separate
5,
Bimmy
and I
and
think
Jimmy's.
Marion's back eventually.
But do you think those 5 are they even bothering with any sort of like canon, or are they just saying F it?
All I can remember about 3 was sitting in the arcade, and when I would go into
Three's the one I played the most.
When I would go into a shop in the arcade, it's like put in a quarter to buy more gear. And I was like,
clever.
that's evil. It's
Microtransactions.
microtransactions. Yeah, it was the most evil thing ever. But 3 on the NES was fun. It was hard as all, but it
3
was
on
fun.
the NES was the Sacred Stones, and it got really weird and mystic by the end.
Really, really hard.
Yeah, more
yeah.
mystic as the
But
series
yeah,
went on.
going back to co-op though, and then competitive. We have Samurai Gun, Towerfall, Nidhogg. These are all fairly recent games that are just wonderful on a single screen. So I think this is it's alive and well.
I think so too.
I suspect that it's one of those features that everyone claims they want more than the user data actually shows. Everyone laments the loss of local co-op. Then you ask how many times did they do it in the last year. They're like,
Yeah, well, it could be. Now is the time on GameScoop when we play video game 20 questions.
Already?
Yeah, but we have a little bit. The back half is we're gonna do some talking after 20 questions.
Okay.
Too.
What?
Just to let everyone know.
Moved your seat, changing up the format.
Everyone knows how this works. You email me a game suggestion. I'm the only one who knows the game, and my friends here have 20 yes or no questions to guess this week's mystery game, which comes from Greg Kelly.
And it's probably not Body Harvest because we
Let
talked about that.
the questioning begin.
Does your character? Can you hear your character speak in this game? Do they say
Like-
anything that you can hear in your ears? Do they speak words
Actual words.
that you can hear?
I cannot I cannot answer that question.
It sounds like it's Q.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
So can I answer that question?
Does your character wear a hat?
Yeah.
Character.
Oh, look at that.
Justin's so happy. Was this game released before January 1st, 2000?
Yes.
Okay. Pre-2000s.
He had to look it up.
Pre-2000s wearing a hat. He could be faking us out, though.
Is it after 1990?
Yes.
All right. So it's in that window.
All right, so
Like
I
it's a
suspect that Damon's. I don't like to metagame Damon's actions too much, but I do have to admit when he looked up the 2000s thing, leads me to believe that it's close to the year 2000.
So N64, Dreamcast, late
the
PS1.
Dreamcast always trips us up because
Is it a 3D game?
Yes.
Okay.
That
oh,
helps.
smart. Where do you want me to go next?
I don't know. Well, we could try to do the platform, or we could try to do the genre, or we could try to. Oh, country of origin's always good.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Was this game developed in Japan?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a Japanese. Okay, so do we want to go genre, platform?
I think we want to go platform.
Platform. Is this a Dreamcast game?
No.
Okay, there we go. We got that one.
Is it a
on
Nintendo 64 game?
No.
All right.
there. All right.
I mean, in PS1. Is this a PS1 game?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
I'm boned.
Still,
Just took three questions.
I don't know
three.
any PS1
Wow,
games.
that was a quick burn there.
No,
All
that
right.
was fine. I
Yeah.
mean, we got a 3D PS1 game. That's great.
Yeah.
Made in Japan. It's
Made
not Tomb
a
Raider.
3D
not
P-
Crash.
and you're wearing a hat, and it's unclear whether or not you hear the character's voice talking.
Well, maybe you play as multiple characters. And some
Actually, that
speak.
voice thing could turn out great though, because like that cuts out things like Metal Gear and stuff like that right away, because that would have been easy. Yes. So we know. Okay.
and we know it's not Tomb Raider or Crash or any of the other Western PS1 games.
Right. So actually, wow, this is great. All right, maybe
Ape Escape.
who developed Ape Escape?
Pretty sure there's-
No one knows.
All right. Who are we on? Is it me?
That will never
Sam,
stop.
you
tickling
don't give
me.
yourself enough credit. You're the most winning video game 20
I know,
questions
I'm
player.
just trying to
By
think of all the.
percentage,
Yeah, I'm just trying to narrow this down.
Let's
Did this game get sequels?
Yes.
Yes, game about sequels. Ooh, ladies like yes. So it's like, hey,
Dynasty Warriors.
oh
Is
man,
it based on a license?
No.
Based
That's
on-
10.
That's 10. Okay, we're in dangerous territory here.
So 10 questions in, halfway to go.
And we know you're wearing a hat.
You know that it's a Japanese developed PlayStation game
Okay,
rendered in 3D.
rendered in 3D.
Should we ask if you play as a human?
You wear a head covering.
I suspect that it's
like
a helmet.
ninja game or a.
It could be a helmet. Could be. Oh wow, this could be a lot
Are
of
there
things.
ninja games on the PS1?
There are a few. There's like Tenchu and stuff like that. Let's see. It's
man,
a 3D game.
Tenchu.
Yeah. Is it? Wow. Yeah, I like that you went right to ninjas.
Why don't we just say do you play as a human?
Okay.
Do you play as a human?
Yes.
All right. We'll play as a human. We're closer.
Because I was worried about mascot platformers still.
Okay. So that's actually great. So it's not a mess.
You could have been some kind of gecko.
There are.
Some
Right.
sort
We
of
could talk
cool
about
gecko.
setting. We could talk about your enemies. We could talk about your weapons. We could talk about you're wearing some kind of head covering.
I mean, if there's sequels, there's like Jack and Daxter. No, those aren't humans.
Is this a game set on? Well, no. I'm trying to think
Is
about
Daxter
the best. It's
talk.
not. Yeah, but that's made in America, and that's also PS2.
Do you want to try like the sci-fi thing or the?
Yeah, I was trying to think is it historical? Because I could bring in ninjas, but then it could be fantasy ninjas.
What's Klonoa?
He's like he's
2.5D
not human.
platformer.
He's not human,
Not
so it doesn't
human?
matter.
Okay.
Yeah.
There weren't as many. I'm not too
Great
worried
guess.
about it being first person. There weren't that many first person games on PS1 back then.
Yeah, there were a few, but
few,
there
but I
weren't
mean,
that
I'm
many.
Yeah. So does this game have like fantasy elements, any kind of magic or dragons or anything like that?
Uh,
I don't think you would qualify this as a fantasy game.
Let's see. I've got one in mind, but I don't know. Do you use? Do you guys mind if I burn one here? Do you use swords in this game?
Yes.
Okay, it could be Bushido Blade. I'm
I don't know what that is, but sure.
You
because
should know Bushido Blade. It's awesome.
yeah, and that has a first person mode. Believe it or not.
Can you do people talk in it?
They say like one word phrases occasionally in Japanese, but very rarely. Yeah, Katsuno, like that's one of them. But it's like a fantasy-ish game, but there's no fantasy elements. It's all like
Is it a traditional fighting game? Right.
It's a fighting game. It's not a traditional fighting game.
Yeah.
It's a one-hit kill fighting.
There's no life bar or anything. I don't want to over-focus on that, but
Well, I mean, I think that's closer than anything else.
we know that you're a human using a sword in 3D on the PlayStation.
So Bushido Blade fits that. Dynasty Warriors still fits
Yeah,
that.
Dynasty Warriors fits that.
They're both historical.
Yeah.
Is that a good question, do you think?
Like, is it a historical game?
Yeah.
Like Giant Crab's historical?
Well, that's what I mean. That's what's tripping me up.
Well, we
about,
already asked if it has fantasy elements, and he said no, and using a sword, so the odds are that it's
Very historical.
It's historical, yeah.
Good call.
But there's a lot of games that would fit that. And Tenchu would fit. So far, a bunch of games would.
Bushido Blade was one-on-one, right?
Bushido Blade is one-on-one.
Does this game put a particular emphasis on one-on-one combat?
No.
Okay, so it's not Bushido Blade. There we go. Okay, Tenchu's got stealth. Dynasty Warriors has brawling.
This game got a lot of stealth elements in it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
That's 15.
Are you... Okay, let's be careful. Are you a ninja in this game?
Yes.
Okay.
Could it be?
Okay.
Well, you know
there's
it
other
is.
games. Well, no, we were guessing. Ask if there's a grappling hook.
Well, but here's the thing.
Is
In
there?
Metal Gear, no, it's 'cause you don't speak in it. What,
Yeah,
It's
you
gotta be-
speak in
if
Metal
you don't-
It's got to be Tenchu.
Well, I mean, do you speak in Tenchu? I can't remember.
Yeah, but if you don't remember, then Damon doesn't remember.
Yeah, let's ask about the grappling hook because that'll decide it if it's got a grappling hook, it's Tenchu. Does this game have a grappling hook?
I don't know.
Is it?
Swing and a miss.
Okay, I asked if you're a ninja. Let's see.
Dude, it's a 3D PS1 Ninja game.
Why
It's
don't you just
an
ask
issue.
if it starts with a T at this point?
Okay, that's cheating.
Is this a game that regrets coming out way too close to Metal Gear Solid?
What?
Okay, darn.
What kind of
All right.
question is
Well,
that?
that again, Tenchu
Damon,
was killed by that.
is it Tenchu?
Yes.
All right.
Got there in 17.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I don't think. All right, whatever.
What?
I'll put it in the win pile.
Yeah, it's a win.
Okay.
Who sent Intention Ninja Assassin? I'm curious.
That was I told you at the
forgot.
Greg Kelly.
Greg Kelly, nicely
Yeah.
done, Greg Kelly.
Yeah, that was-
Tenchu was all right. It
was great
could have
at the
been.
time.
No, I don't remember if there's a grappling hook in Tenchu, and I don't remember
Yeah.
if you speak if there's any voice acting.
I don't remember either. You used a grappling hook to get up in the ceiling and like look down at people. Like that was the one. Like
Tenchu
cool
was
little-
really cool.
The first couple of games I think were pretty good.
The problem with Tenchu was that it came out way too close to Metal Gear Solid, and everybody's just like, "Oh, here's this way better stealth action game that we could be playing."
I played them both at the time. But then, I remember they were making new Tenchu games for the Wii. And,
Yeah.
they were
Crazy.
not great.
Tenchu 6 was a Wii game, right?
Yeah, they're like a Wii exclusive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
Wow, they made a
I
lot
think I
of
have that game.
Well done, another win. We'll put that one in the win pile. 17 guesses, 17 questions.
All right.
Before we go this week, what are we playing? The listeners always want to know what it is we've been playing.
Oh, I got a great game I want to plug. I started playing a new collectible card game, new digital card
Whoa,
game.
wait a minute.
Oh.
Wait a
I've
minute.
been waiting for you to get back from vacation. I want us to do some Let's Plays or something.
All right, what is this?
It's called Eternal, and it's from Direwolf Digital, who's a studio that's got a lot of Magic the Gathering design experience in it, a lot of designers that have experience in physical card games. And they're actually the developers making the Elder Scrolls card game as well. Bethesda contracted them to make it. So it's called Eternal, and what I like about it is it's an almost perfect blend of Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone. So the board looks like Hearthstone, and the cards all crash into each other like Hearthstone. You know, it's animated and flashy and quick, but it's got the mechanical depth of a Magic the Gathering.
You guys don't turn off those battle effects when you play?
No, I mean, I don't think
I don't
you
even
can.
know
It's
if you
just-
can, but
it's
I
just
wouldn't.
part of the game. So
Do you turn off battle animations in Fire Emblem?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, 100%. Yes, right away.
I actually do it in Pokemon, which I'm playing right now.
Yeah,
They
I
take
leave-
way
What
too
about
long.
Advance Wars?
Yes, I leave them on for like an hour, and then they got to get out of there. So like this game, for example, you played a lot of Hearthstone. One of the differences here is you can call your block. So like if someone's attacking into you, you can say, "I'm going to block them with this unit or this unit." And so little details like that. It's got the 5-color mana system that Magic has. It gives you a lot more deck building flexibility. And the dopest part about the game is that it just showers you in free stuff. You're getting free packs of cards and free currency and free draft entries. And when you enter the draft mode, you get to keep the cards that you draft afterwards and add them to your library.
Wow.
I play it every night.
It's called what?
Eternal.
Eternal.
It's an open beta on Steam right now. Free to play. But
Not on like iOS, Android.
it's coming to mobile, but it's only on PC for now. And don't be scared away. Like, it's the most generous.
scared.
Well, by the free to play aspect is what I'm saying. It's the most generous free to play digital.
What kind of
card game
monsters
I've
are on the
played.
cards?
I got all kinds of monsters.
Like orcs?
It's fantasy-ish, yeah.
Is there a dragon?
It's probably dragons.
Probably.
I love a good CCG. I'm excited about that.
Golems.
Playing a lot. Yeah, go ahead, Jared.
No, at work I'm playing Final Fantasy 15 and really enjoying that. On my bus ride, I'm still plugging my way through Final Fantasy 1. So playing those at the same time.
Are
which
you
is
all
kinda-
white mages?
No. I'm playing the power party. 2 fighters, white mage, black mage. And
How do you heal?
huh?
Oh, you said white mage.
Yeah, 2 fighters.
On what platform? Are you
I'm playing
playing
on Android. It's which is the easy version of it.
I don't consider that. Is that the power party?
What? 2 fighters, white mage, black mage? I feel like that's the easiest, right?
I don't like
You don't
to play
want a
that
ninja
game.
in there? You should put a
Yeah, I
ninja
play
in
with the
there.
black belt.
Well, so I like. Oh wait, well those are 2. No, thief becomes ninja.
Oh, sorry.
my bad.
No,
Sorry.
he's right. No, you said that's okay.
Take a
No, I prefer not to play with the black belt.
Black belt becomes a master.
He can become pretty Yeah, he becomes a master, and he can be pretty great. But his defenses are so low that I just prefer 2 fighters.
I like getting the mass immune and putting that on my white mage.
That's great.
You get that in the last 15
Yeah.
minutes.
I know, but it's still fun.
But then you can exit out of the dungeon and just go play with it for a while in the world, and it's fun. Go beat up War Mech over and over for no reason.
I don't take white mages.
Oh, you don't take just never?
No, I never used them. I just
You just
bought,
use
bought
potions?
potions. Yeah.
What do you do without exit?
I don't know what exit is.
Yeah,
Oh,
you,
for
could,
the
you
dungeon.
could bounce from a dungeon. Oh, it's the best.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean-
there's an item that does that.
Well,
You're
there's
right.
yeah,
That's right.
and also the black mage has a weaker version of it you can use too.
Final
That'll take
Fantasy
you before.
ones are really cool.
I just
It's a fun
trudged
game.
my way in and out of dungeons. It was tough, man.
Yeah, it is. It is tough. The newer versions are easier. The
That
old
Marsh dungeon, oh my god.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the Marsh Cave on the NES version is a nightmare.
Is that the ice one?
No, the Ice Cave's worse.
yeah, that
the
one
Ice
sucks
Cave's
with the things that turn you into stone, maybe.
the Ice Cave's
No.
awful.
The
Yes,
ice
it
caves.
is. At the end of the canoe.
The ice cave's like the only legit bad part of that game.
Well, the Marsh Cave, because you're being kind of like, this is kind of hard, this kind of hard. Holy crap,
Well,
you know.
'cause
And
there's
then
like,
again, the
there's
Ice
either
Cave
4
just.
or 9 specters at the end.
but you
and
can
they're
just
really
you can
hard.
just do white magic on them.
What,
Yes.
on
Knock
this-
'em out.
Unless
on
you're
Spectre?
little Sam Claiborne, in
Then
which
you
you
don't have
don't
white
have.
magic.
Also the
I'm
the-
figuring. I'm
Sammy
understanding.
Clay.
And the boss of the Marsh Cave, there's a lot of specters hanging around that area, but the boss of the Marsh Cave is those Ichthid looking guys that look kind of like mind flayers.
Isn't it is that the one where it's 4 of them?
There's usually 4 of them in front of the chest. Yeah,
Yeah,
when
in
you got to
front
get
of
the
the chest.
crown
But there
out.
can't
Yeah.
fight
Fight
more.
sucks.
Yeah, and then the Ice Cave's just awful all the way around. But in addition to Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy 1, I'm also playing through The Legend of Zelda on my NES Classic. And I'm just about to the end, which means I'm getting ready to dive into the second quest. And I haven't done a second quest run in ages, so I'm really kind of excited to go through and try to remember if that's as frustrating
I
as
have a
I
map that you can use in my Nintendo Power.
Excellent. I can't wait to do it. That game is still so good.
Zelda one.
Oh, yeah. That game's ridiculously
I didn't
good.
play it when I was a kid. Now I can't enjoy it.
Oh, man.
It doesn't work as a playing it for the first time today.
I think some people might disagree. In my opinion, no, it doesn't.
It really is. Playing it this time around, it's like a better Dark Souls. Like you can do almost it's like truly open world, and you can do almost anything you're willing to try. It's great. There's very, very few walls that are set up to stop you from at least trying things.
I give that game credit for the flexibility to, kill boss with whatever weapon you want, whatever item you want. Like, it was unheard of in that era.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Sam, what are you playing?
Okay,
What are you
so-
playing?
what are you buying? I just got through the Clockwork Mansion, Dishonored 4, or Dishonored 2.
Wow.
Which is a stopping point for me probably for right now, so I can play other stuff. On the side, I'm playing on my commutes. I'm playing Pokemon Sun and Moon, which I really like because it has the 151 Pokemon in them, slightly different. A lot of them are, which is interesting. It also takes place in Hawaii. I like Hawaii a lot, so that's cool. But it's still a kid's game and a little bit boring for me. But I'm still playing it.
Is the Clockwork Mansion as cool as I've heard? Like
It's good. It's a neat.
it's
It's
one of
a
the
house that
coolest
transforms for
levels.
people that haven't played. Just look up a video of it. It's not. I mean, it should get you to play the game because it's the coolest part about the game.
much like the Tony Shalhoub classic
You can,
13 Ghosts.
Yes, you can pull a lever in a bunch of different rooms and the rooms transform, right? But you can avoid that whole thing by going up and out of the architecture of the thing and totally fooling the guy that's trying to mess with you. And that was really fun to do. So I got through that and I want to finish the game. One thing I noticed about playing that game is the same thing I've noticed about all Bethesda games that I play is that the saving and loading is probably the game function I use the most in it. And those games are really about manipulating my save file. And that makes me feel a little weird.
Yeah.
But like I can't resist. I'm like obsessively I save, I play for a minute and a half, and then I reload if I screw up.
Yeah, it's not.
That's just how I play them. And the loading.
Yeah,
is
it's not
too
instant
long.
loading.
It's not
but
instant
just-
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I finished Dishonored 2 recently.
And you beat it. Huh?
Yeah,
How far do I have to go?
You're like halfway done.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. I really enjoyed most of the game. Disappointed with the last ending and the boss fight and the ending of the game. I felt a little let down by that. But I
Who'd you
enjoyed
play as?
the bulk of the game as Emily. And I was planning on playing through it again as Corvo, but after the ending, I was left a little
Oh no.
not super jazzed to jump right back into it.
Okay.
But I know they're going to update it with a new game plus next month, I think, sometime. So
I think it's gonna be a Christmas break game for me.
Yeah.
I'll check it out then.
Sneaking is really fun in it. Like if you didn't play any other sneaking games this year, this is the one. I always like playing
Yeah, I don't
one
even know
good.
what-
Deus Ex is the other one.
Fun fact:
yeah.
the original title of Dishonored was gonna be Stealth King.
Really?
No, nope.
Sneaking.
The original title of
would've
Sneak King
believed
was Sneak King. That was a fine giveaway game.
No
And since I
Sneaking
finished
sequel.
Dishonored, I'm playing Titanfall 2, which is actually a really fun campaign. I haven't played just like a straight ahead shooter campaign in a long time, and it's a good one.
I mean, I have a copy of Gears to play. I have Dishonored to play. I have Final Fantasy and Watch Dogs to play. But I go home every night, fire up Steam, play some Eternal.
Yeah.
It's really great.
I gotta check. Maybe I'll check that out tonight.
Over Thanksgiving, I had a bunch of people over, and I just showed them San Francisco and Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
And that was like, oh, I'm really gonna do
Yeah,
that
I
game.
have Watch Dogs
I
too.
just like driving around in it. It's really cool.
I have Watch Dogs 2. I need to start that. And I also I was just on my Thanksgiving trip to Spain. On my flights, I played a lot of SteamWorld Heist, which is incredible. It's an awesome.
Did you play Dig?
I loved Dig.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, Dig is great, and this is really good too. A totally different type of game.
Very different.
Turn-based strategy, 2D side-scrolling turn-based strategy game.
Let's not
Robots
forget
shooting
about that
robots.
when we're doing our Game of the Year stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That
Was that?
really-
And that was this year, right?
I may have come out in 3DS last year.
No, I don't think so. I think it was early this
we'll
year.
check.
Was
Anyway.
it? Wow.
I mean, we'll need to check.
And also, I was also playing a new iOS card game called Solitarica, which is
that one.
it's solitaire.
Oh, that-
it's a roguelike solitaire with RPG
The
elements.
solitaire RPG where you deal damage based off your ability to,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
great.
and,
Sold. Yeah.
It's like
sold.
$3. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're earning coins for removing cards, and then when you lose the game, you get bounced out, and you can spend your money to upgrade your
Yeah.
deck, and then next time you can last a little bit longer.
One of my
Solitarica?
favorite things in
Solitarica.
video games is this undercurrent of like using card game systems that's
Yeah.
like underlying some like RPG, whatever you want to call it, like flavor. Like there's RPG on the surface, and then underneath,
Yeah.
poker
Like the
or
poker, yeah.
solitaire or whatever.
Man, you would love Deadlands. Ooh.
Deadlands.
Yeah, Deadlands, a tabletop RPG built around like poker card
Yeah.
like combinations.
Cool.
You would love strip poker for the Commodore 64 as well.
Didn't you review something called Naked Poker for IGN once or something like that?
There was a WiiWare game. I don't know if it was called Naked Poker, but there's a WiiWare game that you play poker like against like anime girls, and if you win, you get like a scantily clad image of them.
That's not great.
It was not a good game.
Yeah, I think your review was less than glowing.
Probably, as most of the WiiWare reviews were. And that's all the scoops we have for this week. But this weekend is PSX, and we'll be covering the show, and we'll be bringing you live coverage of the Sony conference, the keynote speech, I guess, and all the new game demos and demonstrations that they have. That's going to be this Saturday. Our pre-show coverage will be live at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. I think the Sony show starts at 10. Go for an hour and a half-ish, and then stay tuned afterwards for our post-show coverage. It'll be myself, Max Scoville, and Alana Pierce breaking everything down for you, so tune into that. But as for this show, thank you, Justin. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Sam. My name is Damon. Remember, you can always reach us at the email address, gamescoop@ign.com. And we're out.